make. Today we're here to announce a new public message trying to raise public awareness about Smurfing. Going out and purchasing what are now legal pseudoephedrine products for the purpose of either giving it to a meth cook or selling it to others who would make methamphetamine from the product. So this is something that's particularly a problem in this area, as well as Vanderburgh County. We were just in Fort Wayne earlier. So this is a public message. We want to give fair notice. So if people don't know that the new statute makes this process called Smurfing a felony, they're now on notice. I want to say special thanks to our hosts here at CBS who've agreed to put posters up in all their stores around the state. Particular thanks to our friends with the Indiana Retail Council who've been promoters of this, as well as Senator Yoder, who led the charge in our Indiana General Assembly to make the change in our statute. Happy to have our friends in law enforcement, our prosecutor's office, all the players in the criminal justice system that have to deal with the problems of methamphetamine in our state. So it's something that in my office we work with the entire criminal justice system. We have all the appeals, so it's important for our office to make sure that we can prove that people understood that they knew that this was illegal. So the message goes out loud and clear today. And again, with the posters and all the other work we do, people understand that it's now a D felony to buy pseudoephedrine with the purpose of selling it or giving it to someone to manufacture methamphetamine. So this is something that's very important. I think the scourge of meth in the state of Indiana is something that we've done an awful lot about over the years, but we have to do more, frankly. And this next effort, the public message, is something that, again, is the next step. We're going to have to continue to be vigilant because the cost to our society in what meth does, not only to the people who ingest meth, but the people who may be in and around it. So I know the members of law enforcement are concerned about this single pot method, where they literally have what equates to a bomb in the form of a 2-liter cola bottle. So these things are very dangerous, and it's something that this local manufacturing of methamphetamine from Smurfers has got to stop. So again, thanks to everybody, and particularly Senator Yoder, who has led the charge in our General Assembly, and I'll ask if Carly wants to.
Thank you, Attorney General Zeller. Thank you for your hard work in this issue. It's an issue that is affecting our whole state, and particularly up here in the northern part of the state. And that's why I got involved in this legislation and authored this legislation to start attacking the problem where it needs to be attacked. And so I'm pleased to join the other leaders that are here today. It is a team effort, and it takes all of us working together in order to start working to put the clamps down on those who not only produce meth, but are involved in using it as well. Smurfing is certainly a new phenomenon in Indiana and probably across the country, but it's one that we want to make sure that the public is aware of, and we want to bring more attention to it before it becomes any more popular in Indiana. And that's why we're educating the public today with this new campaign on Smurfing, to let them be aware of what's taking place, and also to make them aware that if they are asked to come in and buy this product to give to somebody who's going to make meth, that is a very illegal process, and they will be prosecuted for that. And so I'm pleased that we're starting this campaign to make the public aware of that. We understand that this anti-Smurfing campaign is not a silver bullet, and it's not going to eradicate the problem by itself, but it's a great start. And I think with a team effort with law enforcement, with the prosecutors, and with the legislature and everyone else involved, we can make some serious inroads in preventing this from continuing to negatively impact the communities that we all live in. So With that, I would like to now turn it over to the Warsaw Mayor, Tolman, to have a few words.
Thanks, Carl. And again, thank you, Senator Yoder, for your commendable work on trying to come up with efficient solutions for the scourge of meth. Attorney General Zeller uses the word scourge, and I would use the scourge as well as my mayors across the state. You know how this problem affects us right down at the street level. These measures are a step in the right direction, but we have much more work to do. Attorney General Zeller, thank you for taking your show on the road, coming to our community, raising awareness of these new measures that will attack the problem right here on the front lines, right here on the street, right here at the counter of the pharmacy. I thank the dedicated members of our law enforcement team who now have additional tools to hammer right away at street level. I ask our legislators to continue their commitment to choking this problem off at the neck. That is to continue to find more effective ways to take this horrendously addictive drug out of the hands of the desperate. Mr. Grant Monahan, President of the Indiana Retail Council, has a few things to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you today. The Indiana Retail Council and its drugstore and pharmacy members are completely committed to this effort to stop smurfing in Indiana. We've been supportive of any effort by the legislature to deal with the meth problem in the state. We supported legislation authored by Senator Yoder that dealt with that established the electronic tracking program that is now in place in every pharmacy in the state that can track pseudoephedrine sales. We supported the legislation again by Senator Yoder this past session that now adds increased penalties on smurfers. It's important for all of us in retailing to take our responsibilities seriously. We want to serve the customer first, and our members are committed to doing that. But at the same time, they're going to do all that they can to assist law enforcement and other local officials to stop smurfing at the counter. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll take any questions.
You mentioned it's a D felony. What exactly, how punishable is that by law? Is that jail time or?
D felony is punishable from 6 months to 3 years. The advisory sentence is 1.5 years. Also, it can aggravate up to a C felony, depending on the weight of the amount that's transferred. C felonies go from 2 years to 8 years with an advisory sentence of 4 years.
And this law is currently in effect as we speak?
It is. Thank you very much.
And you guys are just looking for the sale of pseudoephedrine, or are there any other particular medications that you guys are on a high alert for?
There's a long list of chemicals that are contained in this statute, but primarily that we, with the assistance of the Attorney General's office, are focusing in on is that which is the most prevalent in our community, and that's pseudoephedrine.
How long have you guys been seeing this as a problem?
Well, in Kosciuszko County, we've been on the top 10 for the clandestine labs seized since 2009. So that's top 10 in the county or in the state.
The smurfing in particular, is this something newer or have you been seeing it for a while?
Well, with the assistance of the police department, we have seen investigations of smurfings in the past, and with the statute, it allows us easier prosecution.
And I guess can you reiterate how, cutting, why do you feel like this law is so important? Not to sound silly, but why is it so important just to stop it at the counter as opposed to be proactive? Can you explain a little bit about that?
I think you're exactly right. The proactive part of it is essential, and that is that it's a main ingredient in the manufacturing of methamphetamine is the pseudoephedrine and ephedrine. So from the very groundwork, you need to have prosecution available for that.
Can you talk a little bit about also what this does to families and the people that are the addicts themselves and their families and the communities?
Well, the mayors around the state have talked about the scourge of methamphetamine. So it's more than just the people who are addicted to meth, but it's the broken families, it's the environmental disaster that it leaves behind to law enforcement who have to deal with these single pots that are essentially like bombs after they're finished. These are real dangers to first responders and men and women in law enforcement. So the problems are well beyond just methamphetamine and the addictive nature, but the manufacturing through these single pots now create hazards all over our community. So the problems escalate. We may still have problems with meth because it's shipped in from outside of the country, but this single pot manufacturing has really raised a lot of new problems with environmental disaster and the risks that it poses to first responders.
How exactly also will you know if if they're buying for a meth cook? I mean, are they buying large quantities of pseudoephedrine, or?
Well, there's limits on the amount an individual can purchase, but there is the tracking system that, again, the Retail Council has really focused on, and I think the legislation has required. But part of the problem is really to track, the purchase of it. And when you finally do catch somebody selling meth, you literally can find out where they got the pseudoephedrine. So there's lists now that are going to be part of this tracking system. Law enforcement can connect the dots, and the prosecutors, there's fair notice, they will be prosecuting Smurfers that really fuel the manufacturing of methamphetamine.
Do you guys by any chance have any numbers as to how many people are addicted to meth in Kosciuszko County, or like?
Well, I can tell you that out of the cases that have been filed so far in the prosecutor's office in Kosciuszko County, approximately 37% of the total drug felonies make up methamphetamine. So it is a very large number. Again, being a high number in the state of Indiana, we're dedicated to the prosecution and the investigation of methamphetamine with the assistance of local public officials and local citizens. We've really tried to take incentives and initiatives to get the message out there that not only is this illegal, but it is very dangerous.
Another point that you ought to recognize is that it takes law enforcement out of their day-to-day jobs of public safety, and instead they're having to deal with all the consequences of these mini meth labs that they find all over. So the amount of resources drawn away from law enforcement and the prosecutor's office really leave us more vulnerable for all the other work they have to do.
When exactly did this law go into effect? Was it just
July 1, is that right? Yeah, July 1st.
Now, are you worried at all? I mean, you have to check someone's ID. That people could be using false IDs to get around that system.
There might be a camera in here somewhere, but I think the law enforcement and the prosecutor's office are pretty good at tracking down who bought. So, and again, we don't want people to be caught up not knowing that this is illegal. So they have to recognize that buying pseudoephedrine for the purpose of manufacturing, you're an accessory and you're a felon. Thanks again to our hosts here at CBS, and thanks for coming out. Very much appreciate it. Well, I should.